What are common reasons that a K-1 visa may be delayed in processing or denied? That's what we're talking about on today's episode of Sumner School Family Immigration Basics. My name is Emily Sumner with Sumner Immigration Law. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, make sure that you subscribe with the alerts on so you don't miss our next video. So there are several reasons that a K-1 visa may be delayed or denied, and it's important to define right now before we go further. I'm talking about the actual visa processing. So I'm not talking right now about the I-129F petition that's filed with USCIS, and I'm not talking about the green card filing that occurs after a person enters the United States on a K-1. I'm talking about the process of applying for the K-1 visa at the US consulate. There's several reasons that a K-1 visa may be delayed or denied. One, and this is a big one, is there is incomplete or inaccurate or inconsistent information or documentation that's provided. So as you know, with the K-1 visa process, you've already submitted an I-129F petition to USCIS. The consulate has access to that. They also have access to other information or filings that you have done with USCIS, with Department of State, and with other agencies, and they will be checking all of those, including doing background checks. So if there is an inconsistency in information that you present at the interview with the I-129F that was presented previously or filed previously, if there was an inconsistency with the previous visa denial, inconsistency with the form that you submitted to Department of State when you submitted when you scheduled your interview, your K-1 interview, if there are inconsistencies between basically anything that you've submitted previously and statements or documentation that you make or provide at the interview, that can be a reason for a delay or a denial. So it's really important to keep in mind that even small inconsistencies across the process and across processes, if you have applied for multiple, if you have a previous immigration filing, with basically any immigration agency in the US, that can cause a problem. It can trigger requests for evidence or additional evidence or delays or even visa denials. Another reason is insufficient proof of your relationship. So one of the key things that the consular officer is looking at in the K-1 visa interview is this a true relationship and not just for benefits of immigrating to the United States? So definitely, we always recommend that our clients bring updated documentation of your relationship to the interview. The officer may or may not want to look at updated documentation, but we definitely recommend that you have it. They are not looking for a perfect relationship. They're not looking for, a picture perfect situation with everything fully and completely documented. You don't want to present too much documentation, but they're looking for reality. They're looking for communication between the two of you, photos. They're looking at when did you last visit each other? When did you last see each other? Photos of that, documentation that you have seen your fiance recently. So your fiance maybe came to your country to visit you, or maybe you went there, maybe you met somewhere else. That kind of documentation can be really helpful. In addition, if there are previous marriages for either fiance, either the foreign national or the US citizen, you want to make sure that that's clearly documented and that there are not inconsistencies or fact patterns that may create red or yellow flags for the officer. If there are, that's absolutely fine, but you need to be prepared to clearly and accurately answer questions about that particular relationship. Speaking of which, prior relationships. Another reason for a possible delay or denial of a K-1 visa is a prior immigration history, problems in your previous immigration history, or criminal issues. This can be a problem for either of you. So for example, if you, as the person applying for the K-1, the foreign national, have prior visa overstays, visa denials, removal issues, that absolutely can be a problem, even though this is a fresh filing and you're filing, it may seem like it has nothing to do, has nothing to do with this filing, but it does. They will look at your immigration history. So that can be a problem. A criminal history for either you as the foreign national or for the US citizen fiance can be a problem. Depends on the type of criminal issue. Not every criminal issue is a problem, but keep in mind, even if you do not have a conviction, it still can be a problem. I always ask clients and potential clients, have you ever been detained by police? Have you ever been arrested? Have you ever been charged with a crime? And of course, have you ever been convicted with a crime? But even if you were not convicted, it still can be something that you need to proactively address in your immigration processing. And that may trigger if you have a criminal issue in either party's background, either the U.S. citizen spouse or fiance or the foreign national fiance, that can trigger additional reviews or require a waiver. Again, it doesn't mean that the case can't be denied, can't be approved necessarily, but it can be a reason for delay, or it could be a reason for denial, honestly. So it's good to check those out affirmatively, ahead of time, proactively. Make sure that you're presenting accurate information and that you're prepared for questions and issues that may come up. Problems at the consular interview. So it's totally normal to be nervous at the consular interview. I tell clients when I'm helping them prepare for the interview, I tell them if you're not at least a little bit nervous, there's probably something wrong. So it's totally normal to be a little bit nervous, but it can be a problem. It can create a problem for the issuance or the approval of your visa if you give inconsistent answers. Again, inconsistencies with previous information or documentation that was submitted. If you're not familiar with your relationship, there are valid relationships that are arranged marriages. So that is, that can be valid, but you want to make sure to have information about your spouse. You want to be familiar with your relationship. When did you last see the person? When did you last talk to the person? It's critical that you're able to show that it is a true relationship, whether it is a love match or an arranged marriage. Missing documentation at the interview. Every consulate has slightly different requirements and processes, so make sure that you are familiar with those. Make sure that you are prepared ahead of time. Again, when we're working with clients, we have a preparation session with them before the interview to make sure they have all the documents that they need and to talk about what to expect before, during, and after the interview. The interview can be short, but preparation ahead of time is absolutely key, not only for success, but so that you feel confident, which can in turn contribute to your success. And then finally, there are processing delays that are outside of anybody's control. So for example, there can be additional security checks that the Department of State decides to do. There can be backlogs at the consulate or the embassy. There can be travel bans in place. There can be administrative processing, which means it's called a visa refusal. They say that they're not issuing the visa at this time, but it's not a denial per se. They're just saying they can't issue it at this time. And then they may do additional background checks, additional screening. It's frustrating because the Department of State doesn't necessarily tell us or you as the applicant why there's a delay or what they're doing or how long it'll take. So it can be frustrating, but that can be an additional reason. So keep in mind that not every delay is a red flag. Not every delay means that there's something wrong with your case. It's something to honestly, I would say, to expect, or at least to not be surprised by, and to know that the preparation of importance and consistency in being proactively preparing and planning. So most K-1 denials or delays are preventable with good preparation and planning, knowing exactly what to expect, making sure that everything is consistent. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes a case is unjustly denied, seemingly for an invalid reason or for no reason, or sometimes there are delays that are beyond anyone's control. But there are ways that you can be prepared and feel confident about the process. If you need assistance with the K-1 visa process or another family-based or employment-based immigration matter, we would be happy to help. My name is Emily Sumner with Sumner Immigration Law. If you need assistance, feel free to send us an email at info@sumnerimmigration.com, or you can visit our website, again, at sumnerimmigration.com, to look at additional resources. We have lots of blogs, videos, and find out more information. And there's a page where you can set a time for a consultation. So I hope to speak with you soon if you are looking for assistance. Otherwise, if you found this information helpful, I hope you will share this video with a family member or friend. And again, my name is Emily Sumner with Sumner Immigration Law. We serve clients from around the world and around the United States with employment-based and family-based immigration matters. Until next time.